welcome to the PFP celebration event tonight. We're so happy that you're going to be joining us for this evening. We're going to have over 300 guests with us tonight here at the beautiful Nedbank Auditorium. And so stay tuned. We're going to have an amazing evening, lots of amazing stories to tell.
Good evening, everyone. Well, my name is Thobela Guzana, principal of Thembani Primary School in Langa. Well, Thembani Primary School was established in 1935, and I believe it's one of the first schools in the Black Townships. Currently, we have 915 learners, 22 educators, 2 admin clerks, 3 maintenance staff, and we have the SGB of the school in place, and we enjoying the support of the parents at the moment. We have volunteers at the school from the community, getting stipend for cooking for the children. And we also have quite a number of organizations, NGOs that are involved at the school. Langa community, there's a high unemployment rate in the area. Approximately 25% of the families, children, they're living in shacks. And high proportion of single mothers and child-led families in the community. And many parents have limited education, and the school is a no-fee school. It's just a picture of the kids at the school. Yeah. I joined the school in 2013. When I joined the school, in fact, I found that the school has not been doing well in systemic evaluation. The school was achieving low results, even lower than what the province was actually achieving.
Can I stick in here?
Okay.
For those of you who don't know anything about the education system, the school have their own examinations and set their own tests and have their own marks. And then, of course, there are other tests that are national. So a school can say to you they're getting 90% pass rate in a particular school, but then in the external evaluations of literacy, particularly maths and language literacy, you can have a different picture. And I didn't know this before I went into a school. I wasn't sure how it was measured. So I was quite interested in understanding the stats as a business person. So we kind of knew where we were starting off and where we were getting to. So the systemic test results here are the national tests, and the school is being evaluated against the province. In fact, the scores are even higher for the metro, as it's called, the area that the school is in. But we'd just be happy to be beating the province to start off with. That's great.
Okay, those are the grade 6 results. As we can see there, in 2012, the school was getting 1% pass rate in mathematics and 9.4 in English. Whereas when we compare with the provincial results, the province was actually at 26 in mathematics and 37 in language, which is English for grade 6. One of the challenges I encountered when I got into Thembani Primary School was that the school was badly vandalized and it was not maintained properly. and there was no principal at the school for a period of about 2 years. And the school, and no sports codes, and quite a number, in fact, almost the whole SMT, they lacked training and in some way quality standards in terms of approaching and their duties. When I came to Tembani Primary School in 2013, I was a principal before in other 2 schools. And I achieved, in fact, I worked very hard with the support under the leadership of Barry Volksgang. Thank you very much, Mr. Barry Volksgang. He's somewhere in here. Mr. Barry Volksgang at that time was a director in North Metropole, and then he moved to Central. And I was a principal then at Luzuko Primary School. And I've realized that given the situation that I was in, I needed support and share some ideas from people around. And hence I approached Partnership for Possibility, of which they did help me a lot.
So I had a really long career in corporate life in the UK and back to South Africa. And my children are grown up, and I just felt that there has to be a way in which I can make a broader contribution. But I thought education, and particularly primary school education, was something that was so important, but I didn't believe as a business person that there would be a way for me to get involved. And I saw an article in Sunday Times, and that was it. I just decided it was, sorry, I do get emotional. I just decided it was time for me to find out about this amazing program and to see what I could do. I was sponsored by Thomson's. I'd worked for Thomson's Africa for 3 years. They very kindly sponsored our partnership, and they requested that I work with one of the schools in the area in which the township tours took place and have a very long affiliation with Langa, which is how that came about. So we met, we agreed that we could do things together. I didn't know what, but it doesn't really matter. And you know, you have doubts sitting there, particularly being a partnership or a principal, thinking, well, I don't know, I see all this grand stuff up here, I'm not sure I can do any of it. It doesn't matter. You start off from where you are, you start off from where the school is, and that's what we did.
And then in developing our plan, what we did together, myself and Janet, we looked at the 9 focus areas, of which those are the key areas in terms of developing a strategy on improving the school. So I'm not going to read all of them. And then we developed our plans. We planned and developed a strategic plan on how we would actually work around in terms of addressing those areas. And we looked at the vision, we developed the vision and the values in improving the school, and we developed a strategic plan that is actually focusing on, we had also a time frame. We did our strategic plan in 2014, and then we made reviews in 2015, at the 2013, and we made for 2014, and then we did review and realigned our strategic plan in 2014 for 2015, together with the SGB and the educators, and we were looking at the improvement of school infrastructure, which is at the moment is underway. We have public works in improving the areas that we identified. And some of the challenges at the school was actually planning, monitoring, and assessment. And then we also had other areas that we need to improve at the school, of which we involved the community and NGOs in fundraising, in addressing some of the areas, the challenges that we were facing at the school. Now, some of the challenges that we had at the school, those are in fact, that picture actually is showing us the challenges that we had at the school in terms of the infrastructure, inside and outside the classroom, where even the drainage system at the school was, in fact, had collapsed. When it rains, there are floods all over the school, and children can't even walk to the classes. Now, the changes, in fact, in addressing those changes, in addressing those challenges that we had at the school, we stick to our plan in addressing those areas. And this is just some of the pictures of the areas that we made change at the school, and in terms of the environment and in promoting literacy and numeracy at the school.
So this plan that we did was done, we had 2.5 days away. We did some fun exercises. It was a school governing body, the teachers, and the management team and everybody. And they hadn't really done anything like this before. So I must admit, when we came to do the review the second time round, I don't think people really realized that this was serious. And if you put your name next to something and was supposed to happen, you had to stand up there and sort of tell everybody what you'd done. So the first sort of feedback sessions were slightly lame, I have to say. But they quickly caught on that actually, if you're going to put your name up there, you want rounds of applause, then you actually have to do the stuff. And if you can't, you have to tell everybody why not. So that was quite interesting. And when we came to do the second workshop, it was phenomenal. People understood the process, they joined in, and they got really enthusiastic. And the interim reviews have just got better and better. So, and the governing body understand all of this stuff as well. So it really has been worth doing. So some of these are the things that have come out of that process. And the growing ownership and responsibility is one of the things we see more and more, people putting their hands up and taking ownership. There's a feeling of team spirit. There's a much more joyful feeling around the school in general. And so a lot of this is about hearts and minds. It isn't just about, you know, school fences and all of that. Don't underestimate how many forms had to get filled out to get those fences changed, though. And that's a big distraction for the leadership of the school. Mobile library is going to be launched. We had a little room. I think there's a picture coming up here. Oh, no, better not skip too far forward. So we had a room full of books. Nobody was reading them. Pick and Pay have come to the party. They've donated some mobile libraries, wagons, and those are being launched this term. Teachers and parents together are going to run that mobile library service. So attendance at school meetings, I'm not going to read this whole list to you. You can read it for yourselves, but you can just see 2 years on. So our partnership is 2 years old, isn't it? So 2 years on, things keep moving forward. And that's very, very positive. I just wanted to give you an example here of the high involvement culture. Thobela and I thought about just an example of something. I don't know how we are for time. Where's our timekeeper? Are we okay? So just an example of an outcome, because, you know, in business you always want the outcomes, don't you? You know, it's all very well doing like all this busy stuff, but you want to know, is it working? So, so here you go. If you want to tell them about the parents' meeting. I thought this was amazing.
Yeah. In fact, in 2013, in our first meeting, of which the meetings were called on Sunday, on Sundays, approximately, we need to do something about this. So we sort of changed the strategy and the days and the times of calling meetings, because at that time, most of our parents in our community, they want to go to church. So basically, it was not a good strategy at the time, 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, to call a meeting. And we came up with different strategy, and then in our next meeting, there were about 350 parents, and then the numbers were growing up. And then our possibility, principals of schools sharing ideas, experiences, we wouldn't actually have achieved what we have achieved at the school. It was because of everybody involved in Partners for Possibility, especially Jeanette.
For me, this has been an amazing journey, very different to whatever I could have imagined, and it's still going on. I've given a 3-year commitment to the school. I don't think you can just dip in for a year, really. So it's a 3-year commitment to the school, and I've gained certainly as much as I've given. I've learned so much about the lives of people who come from an area like Langa, what school is really like. I had no idea that from grade 4 they suddenly were taught in English, having been taught in Xhosa in grade 3. Like, wow, that's really difficult. So there have been small things and big things, but it has been an amazing journey, and I'm very glad to have done it. And I would say to anybody, you know, you have this feeling that you should be able to do something, but it's very hard to find a way to break in. Well, you know, here it is. It's on a plate. It's well organized. It's structured. It's got long legs. It's got fabulous sponsorship. It's going to go somewhere. And for heaven's sake, get on the journey.
Thank you.